Welcome to Sexy Soulful Success, the podcast for women leaders who are ready to transition from exhausted hustle to enlivened flow in their businesses and beyond. I'm your host, Emily Cassel, leadership and business coach for ambitious, high-achieving women entrepreneurs. We will be hearing real behind-the-scenes stories, inspiring words of wisdom, and actionable strategies from women who are creating their empires with sexy confidence, soulful alignment, and an abundant mindset for success. You'll also hear shorter solo episodes from me to help you launch, grow, and scale your business by working smarter, not harder. Plus, you'll have the opportunity to listen in as I coach real women leaders from our community about challenges and burning questions in their businesses. My mission is to help you walk away feeling more confident in your own journey, free to embrace and express your innate feminine wisdom in all you do, ready to deliver your unique contribution to the world, and inspired to take the necessary action to grow your impact and income through your business. Let's dive into today's episode. Jennifer Watson is a dynamic motivational speaker with a gift for intuitive and visionary coaching. She is an expert in self-empowerment, mental wellness, post-traumatic growth, and leadership mastery. She is passionate and honored to help those achieve their own greatness with authenticity, grace, and class. As a former collegiate athlete and current integrative physical therapist, coach, speaker, and entrepreneur, she is ecstatic to share a message of strength, courage, and hope against mountaintops that may seem unattainable. With 18 years of experience in business and leadership management and health and wellness advocacy, she inspires those to unleash their potential and performance in all areas of their lives. Welcome to the show, Jennifer. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Emily. I am so honored to be here. I love your vision and your passion and your purpose, and I'm just honored to be on your show and connecting with you today.
Me too. I'm so excited to have you, and it's fun because I got to be on your podcast a few months ago, and so I feel like we're having a little check-in on the opposite side of things, a continuing of the conversation to say, and what about you?
Right. Absolutely. You know what? That's what I love about connection, Emily, is as women, we really are there to support and honor and uphold each other and really bring out each other's gifts. And I love what, again, you're doing with your business, your life, your leadership to really support people. And I always say I like stalk you guys on Instagram partially because I'm seeing just all these epic people, and you are truly one of them. And if there's any way that the listeners can get something from us that they can really live and honor themselves as women, as beautiful women, and whatever their goals are, then more power to them and more power to us to continue that vision, to give that to them. So yay.
Yay, absolutely. So you are just an incredible wealth of knowledge and wisdom in your experiences that you've had in the past 18 years of your professional career. And I would just love to hear, for everyone listening, a little, tell us your story. How did you get here? What was that 18 years of experience like for you? How did you sort of take what you were trained to do and all of these things and create a career and a business that really supports the life that you want to live and also creating an impact?
Oh, absolutely. And it's really interesting, but as a woman and just my personality too, my work is really an extension of myself and vice versa. So they've really taken very parallel paths. And, when I look back at my life, I'm like, am I really that old? I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel so young and there's so much left to give and serve the world. But I find that my path has taken like different journeys every like 5 to 7 years. And, and that's such a beautiful thing. That's something that God's opening another door for me to use a gift to serve in a different way. But really, my start really started as an athlete. That's where I had a natural gift, was just being athletic. And I ultimately got a full ride scholarship to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where I ran. I was a middle distance runner there. Yes, I became an All-American. And that's where my love to help people in that area of health from a physical standpoint, because go figure, I definitely had my share of injuries. But I started down that path of really understanding the beauty of health and maintaining health and injury prevention. So that's when I got really interested in physical therapy and ultimately got my master's in physical therapy. Ironically, probably within a couple of years of being a physical therapist, Emily, already I started seeing and viewing health and wellness a little bit differently. And what I mean by that is what you talk a lot about too, is it's more than just the physical wellness, right? And I saw a lot of my clients coming to me with other things going on in their life that were causing a lot of emotional non-wellness, spiritual malalignment, not really feeling themselves, really having a lot of depression and anxiety along with back pain, and I remember thinking, I don't have the tools yet to support people in this new journey. I feel like I have the physical aspects, but that's when I started looking at other classes I could take, tools I could give these people, because I knew they were out there. I just felt that I wasn't able to give that to them at that time. That's when I really started taking more courses in what I call integrative physical therapy, where you really start looking at things beyond physical. You're looking at the emotional, the spiritual components. And ironically, like I said, my journey during that time too, I was really struggling with depression and anxiety. And this was after track in college, where I kind of lost my identity, who I was, because athleticism was kind of my identity. So ironically, I was struggling with that area of my life of wellness, not the physical portion. So I believe just really finding those courses to really help support me and gain more knowledge was as much for me probably as it was for my clients. And I started down this journey of holistic and alternative care, and really looking at nutrition, meditation, spiritual and intuitive management, which I've become a little bit more of an expert in, and really finding that it also not only helped the emotional, spiritual pieces of people, but also helped the physical and vice versa. So I started connecting with these amazing people and started really viewing truly health and wellness in a completely different way. And as I started down that journey, I started my own physical therapy practice, where we started integrating a lot of this comprehensive integrative approach of looking at the body as a whole. And I just found myself start healing along with my clients. I just felt like I was serving them in a better way. So it was a beautiful thing. And as I became more of an entrepreneur, I found that more these just amazing high achieving women were wanting things once they were feeling better in health and wellness, other things like to start a business, and wanted to lead themselves and lead others in a beautiful way with their gifts once they were feeling more healthy and just this overall beautiful sense of self. And that's when I started taking courses and looking at things in ways I could really support women in leadership roles, in entrepreneurial roles, beyond their health and wellness goals. I do treat and still treat, Emily, and I love this, is a lot of women post-trauma. And what I mean by that, it can be anything, from physical trauma, a chronic condition, to emotional trauma, whether it be a loss, divorce, or something else in between. And how we can kind of get past that and move them to this new space of leadership or entrepreneurship, if that's their goal. And I find and I know you agree with this in a lot of ways, when we really delve in to the health of the spirit, to the health of the soul, to the health of really understanding your authentic self, that's where I start with these women, that health and wellness piece. And then it just catapults into, what are your other rock star goals? Is it better in leadership in your family life, your personal life, maybe your professional life? Do you want to start a business? So it's just organically moved in different stages, Emily. And I say that every 5 to 7 years, I'm always wanting to challenge myself to grow and help my people that I advocate for to grow too, especially my high achieving women. I work with them all the time, and I'm sure you see this too. I work with such amazing women, but what I see behind closed doors is they're struggling with their soul. They're struggling maybe post, a trauma that happened in their life, and they really want to heal that so they can really move it forward in where they want to go. And again, that could be a personal leadership goal. It could be an entrepreneurial goal, but I just want to see them succeed. And I love that. I love seeing my women really progress from this, I don't think I can go on, because I've had women like that post-trauma. They're just hurting inside. And even though on the surface they look like they really got it together, right? We all have a tendency to do that. But it really gives me a lot of joy when I can see them pull out of that trauma, out of that scar, of that stagnicity in their soul, and realign. right? And to
Mhm.
just see them personally, professionally grow, and it just gives me, that is my joy. That's my vision, my purpose as a speaker now, as a coach, and yes, as a physical therapist. But the speaking and coaching has been such a beautiful platform for me more in the last few years. That's just a beautiful way for me to continue to engage, to help these people, these beautiful women, rockstar their life and not give up hope, and really see that there's this beautiful gift they have inside to serve. So let's get that moving forward in the best way we can. So yeah.
Mm. I love that. As you were talking and sharing, I feel like what the word that kept coming up for me was alignment, and just
Yes.
getting everything realigned so that the things that need to fall away that are binding the women that you work with are able to move through or fall away, so that they're no longer held back or held down by any of the things that have happened to them, or any of the things that they may have been through in their lives that don't necessarily support where they're going,
Right.
or have supported them up until a certain point, and then they're no longer of service, right? Because that's
Right.
totally a thing too.
Right.
Um, I see that come up a lot in my work with women entrepreneurs, where it's like,
Absolutely.
okay, grinding and hustling, yes, got you to here, but it's not getting you to where you want to go now.
Right. And I just
Yeah.
find that these beautiful women are not honoring, where they're currently at, and they feel like they have to hustle and they have to compare the world of whatever everybody else is doing. Or like we talked about this in the past, Emily, like men entrepreneurs, we are going to come in at a completely different spot. And I think it's really important as women to honor where your gut, your intuition is saying you should be, and honor that and realign that. And again, whether it's a post-trauma, whether it be you're just trying to start something new, and kind of avoid or hold that boundary of not comparison to someone else, to another woman, to
Mhm.
a man, to whoever you're comparing to. And we women have a tendency to do that as well, right? And it's really interesting to me when I'm dealing with people at a soul level and that alignment level, Emily, is that some of these people I work with that are just doing amazing things have a lot of feelings of unworthiness
Mhm.
and self-love. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, that is huge. And if we're not feeling worthy and self-love, how can we give worthiness and self-love and support to other women or the people we want to connect to, right? Or optimally, should I say. So I think it does go back to understanding what you are as a woman, what you bring to the table from your past post traumas. How can you realign to your soul that makes you breathe and love yourself, and then expand it to the world in whatever you want to do? And again, whether it be business or personal things, in leading yourself in a really authentic way that's vibrantly you. Because you can tell, I don't know about you, Emily, but I can truly tell. And when I see some of my clients shift into their brilliant light where they're
Mhm.
supposed to be, literally this glow. You always talk about
Yeah.
happy people, or excuse me, are the prettiest. I
Yeah.
really believe that is when they're really in that soul alignment. And a lot of people think, oh, that's foo-foo talk. And I'm like, no, it's your deepest part of you. If you
Yeah.
don't love that part and you don't understand your path and vision, how can you radiate light? And when I see my clients shift into that, it doesn't even matter what else comes their way, good or bad things
Mhm.
during the day. It's just this beautiful light that comes from them. I'm like, yeah, now they got
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see it shift. It's like it's like sparkling eyes. The
Yes.
thing that I always am like, "Ooh, something's shifted." You can tell when someone is like distracted, or just feeling not their best, and then there's this like spark
Hmm.
behind their eyes that can shine out, and you're like, "Ooh, captivating." you
Right.
know and then it comes from everywhere else. What's funny, my cheerleading coach in high school always used to say, she'd point to her heart and say, "Feel it here," and then she'd
Yeah.
point to her like face and say, "See it here."
Yeah.
So true for everything, but she was saying it because she was trying to get us to be like, you have to be smiling the whole time, and remember that. But if you love what you're doing, and if you feel the words that you're saying, it will shine out of your face like light beams, and
Right.
people will pay attention, and they'll be
Right.
captivated, and they'll be excited about what you're saying, and they want to join you, right? That's
Exactly.
so funny.
We talk so much about the hustle, right? But
Right.
sometimes I find if I'm having a happy day, there's so many things that happen that are good that day that are just coming at me. I'm like,
Yep.
whoa, what's
Yeah.
going on? And of course I know, but even me, after been doing this for a while,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much kind of emanating from me because I feel aligned that stuff is coming back to me and vice versa. And like you said, I love hanging out with other people that are really wanting to get to that point, because I get huge energy from it too. I mean, we're human, right? We have our hard days. And when we surround ourselves with these amazing people that really want to shine their light, right? For lack of better words, I think it makes me feel so good inside. It's like, it's just a pop of like endorphins in so many ways. And I love that. I love it. I love it.
Yes. I'm just coming off of that too. I told you earlier, but I'll share it with everyone listening. As at the time of this recording, I'm just wrapping up. This is the day after the final day of my Business Alchemy Circle retreat with the women that I've been working with. We have a 6-month program called the Business Alchemy Circle. And part of that is a retreat. And we have one-on-one coaching every month, and we have group coaching every month, but it's so different to be in the room with everybody and to feel the energy and to feel the connection and to spend so much time with each other that's focused on cultivating relationship and connecting, and also, baring our souls and sharing what's real and strategizing and talking about the blocks and the things that are coming up, and the emotions are flowing and the energy's moving and the tears are flowing and the, breakthroughs are happening like wildfire. And it's so electric.
I love it.
Then today I can feel the contrast of what happens when we don't have that, because I'm like,
yes,
they were all just here in my home.
Right.
And I can, like, it was so awesome every day being like, oh, I get to wake up. I could feel the difference in even the way that I hopped out of bed in the morning, knowing that, oh, they're coming. Yay.
Right.
Like I get to prepare the space and get ready for them. And this is what the day we're going to have. And then I feel the contrast knowing that, like, okay, today is a day where I'm doing this on my own pretty much, and it doesn't have the same feel. So interesting, because most of the women I work with are working behind a computer screen most of the time in their homes, or, they're, even if they're not, they're still the only one holding so much for so many other people, right? That's what leadership can look like. So whether it's clients on a computer screen, or whether it's, a team of people and your clients and everything else and your family and all of those things in real life, tangible, like actual human contact, which a lot of us, I know for me, I need that to be such an intentional thing now.
Right. And I love that what you said, Emily. And for you listening, Emily's retreats are just, I haven't even been to one yet, and feeling her energy from some things she posts are like epic. So you guys have to definitely take part when you can. But for all you introverts out there, I'm an introvert, Emily. I always tell people, they're like, oh, they have a tendency to veer away from group sessions. I remember when I was early in my career, even I was like, well, I'm an introvert. I do better with one-on-one or what. And what I realized, but for all of you listening, introverts, you need that time with community, even if it's this small, safe space. And I'm telling you, you become less of an introvert when you are surrounded with these amazing women that are going down that same path you are. And my friend says this, a lot of my friends say this about me, Jennifer, you're an introvert, but you become an extrovert when you are around the people that are picking up what you're putting down, that are in your tribe. So I've really looked at that differently. So for all of you, yes, I mean, you have to know what gives you energy, but really those small, intimate connections with group, it doesn't have to be a big group. I would say that, even as a speaker, I love that connection with people to get that energy you're talking about, Emily, whether a retreat or I'm just speaking in front of people. There's that need, even for the introvert out there, you guys, that when you're around the right people, the right tribe that resonate with you, your extrovert side, your need for that connection will come out, and it really absolutely amplifies you and your gifts in many ways, no matter if you're introvert or extrovert. So you guys go to these retreats, because I agree with you, Emily, there's so much amazing energy and momentum that happens in those spaces. And I love that too. And like I said, this is coming from a hardcore introvert for many years. And now I consider myself kind of a social introvert, because I find, depending on the situation, like I become more alive when I'm around the right people, my people, right? And that's part of our journey too, is drawing in those people that resonate with us in looking at life in those realms of growing as people, growing in our leadership, growing in whatever we want to grow in. And that's where you need to dial it in. And these retreats are beautiful for that. So I'm so glad it went well. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, but it's just, that is so necessary. And it's so hard I find it challenging for myself to share the value of what happens in the room with people. And I'm sure probably for your work too, because the work that you do is so intimate and specific to certain people, right? Like helping someone go through healing a trauma in their physical body, in their mindset, in all of the different facets that you are able to look at with integrative physical therapy and the work that you do as a coach and all of those things. It's like, well, it's so unique for each person. And how do you explain to someone who's never experienced the magic that you offer, what does that look like? And what does that feel like to be free of the thing that's holding you back?
Right. I love you saying that. I often speak to people, what are you feeling in your heart? I have them, like you do often, Emily, touch their heart, really be in their body, because a lot of people don't even know what it means to be inside their body, Emily. I don't know if to even know what joy, happiness even feels like, because they've been so outside of it and running the rat race, like you said, the hustling effect that, we women in America, I can't speak for a lot of other countries, but we're kind of the head of the household. We do everything. We're always kind of, I feel like, taking all this stimulus in and people relying on us that we can't even digest it, and we're getting so outside our body. And it doesn't even have to be a big trauma. Like when I say post-trauma growth, I mean, it can be just a woman that's completely overwhelmed and everything's being dumped on her from hubby or kids or boyfriend or whatever. And she's feeling so overwhelmed, it's throwing her outside her body. And she doesn't even know what joy is. She doesn't even know what she wants, because she's just scrambling every day. And when I see the light come on, whether it be through retreat, a one-on-one, a group coaching, when I see them, like you said, shift back into themselves and get where they're almost automatically putting their hand on their heart, to see women like start talking differently and moving differently when I work with them, like, yeah, they're getting it. They're when they pull back in, and again, that light, like you said, behind their eyes, when it starts shifting, and again, it doesn't mean the world isn't throwing junk at them, right? I mean, it's just this different type of light, and their stress tolerance or to what the world is saying they should or should not be just goes up, and they're just becoming more themselves. And if I can see them pull back into that, because for me, I'm like, God never meant for us to be there like that. We are different than men. We are creatures that are very maternal. And yes, we care so much about a lot of other people, but we also are meant to care for ourselves. And that's where we go wrong, I think, as women, is we're like, well, we're maternal, we're supposed to take care of everybody else. And I'm like, well, that's true. But if you're so outside body and you're not aligned and taking care of you, how can you be a good wife, a good mom, a good leader? I mean, it's simply not going to happen, right? And again, they'll be like, yeah, right? But as you start coaching, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm really totally not, I have no idea what I want. I have no idea what it means inside physically. What does it feel like to be happy? And then they start the red flags in a good way start going after, like, oh my gosh, you're right, Jennifer. Like, it's more than words. Like, I really need to get the heart of this. And I do believe the right people are drawn to you, Emily, or drawn to me, or drawn to us, because they're feeling lost and they feel like they need to be pulled back into authenticity, who they really are, because who they really are is really cool. I would say to a lot of my clients, Emily, if you don't like hanging out with yourself, no, I take that back. If you don't love hanging out with yourself, that's okay. That's where we need to start, but that's a problem. Like I love my community, Emily, but I love hanging out with myself. There's sometimes days where I'm like, I'm spending 2 hours by the pool with my book, reading, like I'm excited, like about it, or going on a nature walk a little bit, like an hour by myself, or a run, I'm a runner. But if you don't love that, then there is something going on that there's something inside you that's really kind of pulling away from you, not wanting to be with you, whether it be worthiness or something in your past. So I'm really such a big believer in that, kind of realigning and getting that giddiness inside and knowing what that feels like, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see, I think we see a lot of the same thing in the women that we support. And one of the things that I always am seeing and saying and sort of like lovingly reflecting to my women is that we have such a tendency to operate in this survival mode. And I see women who have incredibly huge, beautiful hearts who want to, help everyone that they possibly can. And they want their kids to be amazing. And they want to give whatever they are able to. And they want to work hard. And, they're survivors of like really tough stuff. The women that I work with are freaking gritty. And that's like the only word that I found that really represents the women that I work with as a whole. I think they have been through shit and they know how to deal with it and they know how to get out of it and they know how to navigate regardless of what's going on, and they know how to survive really well. They know how to do that. They know how to work hard. They know how to make it happen. They know how to hustle. That's not their challenge. Their challenge is slowing down, allowing space, coming back into our souls, coming back into our bodies. What do we really deeply desire? Because when that's taken care of, like you said, we get to be our best selves. And that means that we get to do our best work. That means that we get to give our best stuff. That means we get to nurture our best, to the people who rely on us or to the people who we love or want to help or serve. And we get to make our best impact and be in alignment with our truth and authenticity and what our souls came here to do, which is 100%. The best thing we could ever tend to.
I love what you just said. I love that phrase, gritty warrior. And I do agree, I want to change how women look at that because like you said, I think a lot of us, including the women I've worked with, I mean, the amount of shit, like you said, that they've been through and the resilience, it is amazing to me. And that they've still done all this successful, epic stuff, but they are like, in some of them, suicidal, chronic depression. You're like, really? What? But you look at what you just said, they are in such survival mode. They're not even enjoying any of it. They're just, it has to be done. Dot the I's, cross the T's, get everything done for everybody else. And I really want gritty warrior, and kudos to them, pat them on the back. Like they are shown resilience and rock star that, but I want to see that gritty warrior idea shift, Emily, that like you said, it's not this hustle survival mode. We're not supposed to be in survival mode majority of the time. This is not caveman days where we're literally running from a bear, and they had a reason to be in survival mode. You know what I mean? We have just transcended or, just replaced that with this fear of being, not enough, comparison, unworthiness. And we've forced it into our head that this is survival mode and that we have to do A plus B equals C, or we're not significant, we're not worthy, we're not doing enough, or whatever we're feeding ourselves, right, with our past thoughts. And I'm like, and even I had to go through that journey, Emily, with my coach, and being like, yeah, whatever, I know what you're saying, whatever. And then I'm like, holy crap, like I'm really in survival mode. And I realized how much energy it was sapping from me, and that I was feeling unworthy. And I was coaching people. I'm like, how am I going to coach people well when I'm not feeling even worthy, when I'm not even in a good spot of stop hustling? Like, what do you really want? Who are you? And yeah, you have been resilient, warrior, and that's awesome per se, but that's not where you're supposed to be anymore. You need to be in that alignment that is really ease and flow. It doesn't mean you don't have hard days. And what I want people to really understand, that's not what we're saying, that there's gonna be good and bad days, but that you're not forcing things to happen. You have to really do the things that are when you're in your alignment, when you're in your soul, when you're in the love for yourself, the things that really are supposed to be working for your good and ultimately the world that you're in to serve, and the things that are not. And then you delete those quickly. Drop them like a hot potato, right? And again, I know that's easier said than done, but I find even with me, I'm like, I tell people, once you do it consistently, it's like anything, right? It becomes behavior and you can just do it really quickly. So it may feel, ooh, I got to say no to a friend. Ooh, I got to say no to this opportunity for entrepreneurship. Ooh, whatever. But again, I go back to, why are you doing it? If it's to just say you're doing it, is it not really something you want to do? I literally, Emily, I'm not kidding, every Sunday night, I kind of tweak my to-do list. Like I have a monthly to-do list of where I want to go that month, right? But every Sunday night, I tweak that weekly of things I really don't want to do. And I don't mean I don't want to do them because I'm being lazy. It's just like, this does not resonate with where I want to go in my path and my purpose. And it is so exhilarating to axe it off my list. And I mean, even with, it's like, this person I don't need to hang out with, and it doesn't mean they're good or bad. It just means it's not where I need to be or invest my energy and time, right? So when I do that every Sunday night, it really helps give me the energy when I wake up Monday morning, like, okay, I'm doing things that I know are serving ways for me to grow and ultimately for me to serve in a better, more authentic way when I'm aligned with myself. And that's where it needs to be, right? For all of us. So
Totally. Yes. I love that. I love having conversations with you. You bring so much fire. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Well, I love talking about this stuff, if you can't tell, right? I think, and you're probably like that too, Emily, is I see so many, and yes, the people I work with the most are women. So we're just focusing, I guess, on that today, but I see so many women that have so many beautiful gifts, but they are just so downtrodden. And I see, you sit at the Starbucks or you go in the airport, let's just be honest, and I'm a fairly intuitive person and empathic. So I feel it, I sense it, I see it. And that makes me sad. I'm like, that is so not where we're supposed to be. And you're supposed, to me, God made us each uniquely and creatively to serve the world in profound, epic ways. Now, what epic looks like to you is different than me, 100%. Right. But we need to help support women to get there. And one thing, and this, I'm going to be doing a huge summit in September, and one of our topics we're talking about is the age of the leading woman, and that it's our time, and it's our time to understand not only our beauty and our gifts and amplify them in beautiful ways, but understand it is time to show the world that as women, we can create so much love and expansion and beauty that we were always meant to be giving, and now it's our time, and we need to give women the tools to continue to align that, because I do feel that. I feel it is the age of the woman. It's to really use our gifts to serve the world. So let's get ourselves out there and heal ourselves so we can really realign and move ourselves forward. That's what I want to do.
Yes, me too.
Absolutely.
Amazing. And when is your summit?
So yes, so our summit is called the Life Revolution Summit, and it's a health, wellness, and leadership summit. So we have some health topics that are cutting edge, from mental, emotional, spiritual is where we're focusing, and some physical. And then we have on leadership and how health and leadership affect money, relationships, mindset. And that's why we're calling it the Life Revolution Summit. But it's September 28th and 29th. It's Saturday, Sunday in Fort Collins, Colorado. And it's going to be epic. And for more details, Emily, you guys can go to liferevolutionsummit.com. But you'll see some of our speakers and our topics. But it's really getting so much in 2 days that's not overwhelming, but I really believe are going to create this drop the mic moments and aha moments for people to really view health differently, soul alignment differently, emotional mindset differently, money differently, relationships differently, that they're going to walk away looking at themselves differently. I really see this summit more as a movement. I'm going to be honest with you. And I believe that. And yes, a lot of people that are coming, it's open for men and women, but a lot of the women are coming to this and are really feeling that movement by just looking what's going to be there, So I really encourage people to look at that. But we want to create, like you do, Emily, these safe havens, and it's a little bit bigger than a retreat, this particular event, but I truly believe in those needs of safe havens of like-minded individuals that really want to create a better life, but know something's missing. And this summit's really going to help us angle, and everybody's going to get something out of it. Some people may have more issues with relationships and money over health, or health and wellness, or vice versa. But often, as you know, many of us have struggles in all those areas, and this is what allows us to be humble and really grow, right? Is looking what we need to really support in health and wellness in our lives. What do we need to support in our lives? Money mindset. What do we need to support in life relationship wise? Money has energy, relationships have energy, health and wellness in your life has energy. And we want to make sure it's good energy, that we're growing in the right way. So the summit's going to really allow us to hopefully support people in these amazing ways to just create the life they want, no matter their background, no matter their past, no matter where they think they can or cannot go, that they're going to see that they can shift in a beautiful way, because we're all supposed to be epic, Emily. I don't care what that looks like. For some people, it's literally like running across the world and building schools. For others, it's being an amazing mom. And I don't care what it is. Don't compare. I mean, whatever. I don't care if it's basket weaving and making a business off that. I mean, if that is your thing that brings fire inside of you, go the frick for it. Find the people that are going to support you and drop the ones that don't. When I opened my first practice, Emily, in 2008, for physical therapy, my integrative practice, I don't know if you remember, 2008 was the worst crash economically in quite some time in our country. And I had friends, colleagues, my family who, believed in me, but were like, Jen, you're great. You have great vision, but I don't know. I think you could fail because look at where the economy's at. And I'm like, the economy is one part of the equation. I'm like, I have to live. This is when I was really in alignment with myself. I'm like, I got to listen to my heart. This is where I'm going. God wants me to do this. So screw all of you. I mean, love you, but I literally had to drop, and I don't mean drop them like you're horrible people, but drop their ideas that they were putting in my head. Like, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. And I had to surround myself with people that believed in my cause. And I really think that's important too, kind of side tangent, Emily, as you're developing yourself and opening up and fanning who you really are, you will have to really look at the people that are in your life, and the ones that aren't supporting you, you got to drop. Even if it's for a while, long term, it doesn't matter. Because when I did that, I mean, my clinic took off. Okay. I sold it, a few years back, and moved to Colorado and have another clinic. So, there's beauty in that. It doesn't mean I didn't have to take out a loan, and it wasn't hard the first year, but I 100% saw it happen. And I remember the reason why it worked out, Emily, looking back, I was in alignment with myself. I knew in my soul, my heart, love for myself, that I had to do it. And if I waited, it would be bad. And it worked out. So I go back to, with each woman that's listening, if you're scared of making a shift, personal life, professional life, entrepreneurial life, but you're feeling this fire inside, like you have to do this, go the freak for it, and find even one person that supports you, and stay with that, because you're gonna have questions in your mind as you continue to grow in whatever area you want to grow in. But you've got to surround yourself with a community that really supports you, because you don't want that toxicity in your brain. And I'm sorry, sometimes it's your family that's going to be that. I hate to say, you just got to be willing to support yourself with people that are really supporting you if you want to live in that alignment we talk about, Emily. And I think that's so important, because that's when your light's going to shine. That's when your pretty comes out. Oh my gosh. Other than seeing people on their wedding day, like I don't think I've ever seen an ugly girl or bride, right? Is when they're like, I can tell, like when I go to events, sometimes I'm like, that woman, I want to go talk to, because she is shining some real awesome light. I mean, I can just feel it, I'm like, I'm going toward her. And this is where my introvert comes out. I'm like, even if it's one person out of 200, I beam myself toward her, and I'm like, what's up? And I talk to a lot of my friends right now, like, Jen, you have such amazing people in your life. Like, how are you getting to know all these people? I'm like, okay, this is no rocket science equation. If I'm in alignment, I've had better intuition and discernment, Emily, to find people that resonate with my vibe, and vice versa. And it's not about good or bad people. It's about that person I know is going to pick up what I'm putting down, and vice versa. And we're going to be able to be in each other's world in some way, shape, or form. And like, that's how I do it. And we all, this as women too, that's one of our natural gifts, even over men. Men can hone it too, but intuition. And when we get out of alignment and we have trauma, we get out of that. But once we get in alignment, we really can dial it in. And I really believe that. I'm huge into intuitive mastery for business and making business decisions and spiritual alignment, because you become more with yourself, and you make decisions a lot more efficient and more quality, because they're in your alignment, right? They're with what you want to do. So anyway, I'm getting excited here. I'm talking about so many
I love it.
things.
No, I love it. You're such a firecracker. I love it.
It's so fun. It's so fun. I love you. I love you. And for you viewers and listeners that are listening, I mean, keep dialing into Emily, because she's going to help pull you into this alignment that you really need. I love it, because that's where we need to be. We need to create that for ourselves, and then ultimately it's going to create it for the world. It's not selfish to do. It makes you so much more connected to your world. And at the end of the day, I think I told you this, Emily, at the end of the day, all of us, whether when we're on our deathbed, I lost, 2 family members very dear to me last year.
Mm.
They were not wondering, you know, how much money they had in their bank account. And I know we all say that, but we do need to hear that once in a while. What they're wondering, did I make a difference? Whether it be, do my kids, did I make a difference for them? Did I make a difference to my family, my friends, my business? Did I make a difference? That's what we care about. And unless you're a dude in alignment with yourself, you're not going to get there quite the way you want to. And you're going to be burnout, fried, hustling, survival mode. That is not where God wants you. That's not where you're supposed to be. It's supposed to be in something a lot more beautiful, riding high, you know, with the life that you're living. Doesn't mean every day's good. We talked about that, but that you're in where, yep, I got this. This is where I'm supposed to be. Nothing else matters. So amen.
Yes. Amen. I feel like the 2008, when you first opened your, what do you call it? Practice clinic?
Yes.
Yeah. I just got the sense as you were saying that, I was like, that's when it was most needed because everybody was going through trauma.
Yes.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Like you knew that whether you knew it or not, your soul knew that and was like unwilling to compromise on the timeline, no matter what the circumstances are. And I think that's such a great little snapshot of what happens when we do sort of surrender to what our soul wants us to do and our callings and the things that really light us up, is that we find ourselves in the right place at the right time. And we find ourselves doing things and showing up to things that we're like, wow, my mind would never have been able to get me here. My mind alone would never have known that X, Y, and Z would unfold exactly the way that they did. But the timing of our soul is so on point, and it's it's something we can trust. You know, we forget that all the time. I forget that all the time, and yet I talk about it all the time. So exactly, it's not an easy thing to be in the practice of. It's so hard, but it's so worth it.
It is so worth it. And you know what? I'm going to say something that people might like freak out about a little bit, but you know, when you're in soul, I mean, we talk about, both Em and I talk about this, and I 100% believe in it. It's ease, it's flow, because you're in that universe of yourself that's right. But when you actually make that decision, like you're on fire, like this is what I need to do, like you said in 2008, you are going to feel resistance from the world. You're going to lose people. You're going to feel alone. It's going to happen. Like, but know that on the other side, you won't feel alone. You won't, you know what I mean? Like, because you're taking a step in a direction that 90% of people are not willing to go to yet. So I want people to really get that. When we talk, and Emily and I talk about being in alignment and making decisions, whether the universe, people even think you can do it or not, but you're like, no, I need to do this. Always go back to that feeling in your heart, soul, and why you're doing it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there are going to be people working against you. You're going to feel alone. You may lose friends. You may lose just certain things in your life. You're going to feel resistance because, again, it's the world. It's that inner mind saying you can't do this. It's that inner subconscious fear saying don't do it. It's resistance, right? So during that, ironically, soul alignment going, yes, this is right. You're going to feel a lot of resistance, baby. But no, that's a good thing. That's what I'd say to all the listeners. Know that if you feel alone, that you feel resistance from everything and you're getting things in your mind saying you shouldn't, or fear or whatever, know that's a good thing, that you're on the right path because you're doing something. What you just said, Emily, I love that everybody really needs and actually wants as well. When I opened in 2008, you know, people were in survival mode partially with money and finances and stuff. And I remember I was like, oh my gosh, money, finances, money has energy. I'm like, this is going to come back. I'm supposed to be abundant in money. And if I do this, it's going to come back to me financially, emotionally, help clients. And look what it did. It did. It did. I mean, less than a year, it did. So, but again, like you said, everybody was questioning my thoughts. And I remember going, I feel so alone right now, but this feels so right. Does that make sense?
Totally. It's the courageous leap, right? It's the courageous leap and the willingness to sort of like reshape your identity and say, it doesn't matter what happens in anything else. Like, this is the thing I feel most called to do. And I have to, no matter what. I don't care what I have to give up. I don't care what kind of sacrifices I'm going to be making. It's all worth it for this because I can't not do it.
Yes. I really believe that's why I love coaching people, when you can get
Yeah.
to that point and trust that all the time, Emily. To
Yep.
me, that is part of enlightenment, because all the other stuff of people telling you can't, or your fears inside of whatever they are of why you can, or you're not worthy enough for it, is all noise. It is
Yep.
truly all noise. I mean, if I had to pick, because I chat with women about health and wellness, about leadership, about opening a business. If there's one thing I could tell them to trust and to hone, with or without me, is your soul, your intuition. You have to go with that. And I'm telling you, everything else will fall into place every single day of the week and twice on Sunday. I'm telling you,
Mhm.
I see it all the time. And all that noise of everybody telling you can't, or resistance and feeling alone, like, oh my gosh, that's when you start second guessing yourself. Stop it. We as human beings are the highest level animal in the animal kingdom. And we do have that ability to stop the noise, right? Through tools, through retreats, through meditation, through prayer, whatever we're using. No, that's not true. This is where I'm supposed to be, and this is why. And again, you might have to practice that daily before it becomes habit. But once you truly get there, that's when the light comes behind the eyes we talked about, Emily. Like,
Yes.
they're getting, and I love that you truly don't care. It doesn't mean we're not human. We don't care sometimes. We don't compare. I just mean most of the time, we're just feeling this, I got this. We're good. This is where I feel it when I'm there, and I see it in others, and I'm beelining toward them.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Because we need that. We need to continue to create momentum for everyone to get there, because they can. No, you poop, pee, sleep just like the next person. Just like,
Yes.
honestly, and I think about that, like some of the people I respect the most, whether they be Hollywood stars or rock star people that are now passed away that weren't ever in my world or currently are in my world, the people I really respect the most have done this work. Emily, they
Mhm.
have done this work, and they will say that consistency in the morning to reset their brain, to pull into their soul, whatever that consistent morning routine is. I'm like, you
Mhm.
have to do that to pull in. And once you're in alignment, nothing else matters for the day.
Mhm.
You just stay there. And I'm like, that's awesome. I just see that in really what I call, quote, successful people that are not just, quote, successful on the
Right.
outskirts, but inside. Like, they're like, I don't care. This is where I'm at, and this is where I know I need to be. I'm like, that's awesome. And
Mhm.
that's what I want for myself, for you, for every person out there, because it's yours. It's yours for the taking. It really is. We're
Absolutely.
all human beings. We're all meant to shine. We're not meant to just sit around and whatever. Like, who wants to do that, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, whatever. I mean, we're all meant to move and connect and engage and do something to partake and serve the world. We're meant to,
Mhm.
that's the bottom line. We're meant to serve the world in the limited time we have here to really rock star it. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel so
Yay.
energized after this conversation now. So thank you for pumping me
Yay.
up on a Monday morning.
I feel energized. It's shocking to you. So thank you for pumping me up. Ditto,
Oh,
back at
yes.
you, baby.
Yeah, this is good. This is great. So, where can everyone find you if they want to learn more about your work, how they can get in touch with you, reconnect to the information you shared about your summit in September?
Yeah.
Where would you like them to go?
Yes, absolutely. The probably easiest way is my Instagram. So Jennifer Watson Leadership is my Instagram. You'll find a lot on my coaching, my speaking, as well as, yes, my summit. There's a link in actually my bio to look at information and register and all that good stuff, but a lot more information about me. I do have my Facebook as well, Jennifer Watson Leadership, but in my website, Jennifer Watson Leadership. But really where I'm probably the most active is my Instagram. And that's a great place to connect with me, message me. We want to be here to support you, whether it be summit, coaching, speaking, or just wanting to get kind of my 2 bits on something that you're struggling with. I really want to be here to support you. And Instagram is probably the easiest way to reach out to me, for sure.
Awesome. And you have a podcast.
Yes, I do have a podcast, which Miss Emily was a part of. It was amazing. It is Single Soul Purpose Podcast, and you guys can download that on iTunes. I think that's through iPhone. I forget with Samsung what you have to go through. I think it's Google Play or something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. But in any case,
So.
single soul purpose podcast. It's really about, it's a little play on words, but it's really understanding your single individual power and really tapping into health and wellness, spiritually, emotionally, physically. And we have a lot of amazing thought leaders on there, practitioners that really help us look at health, wellness, and leadership and living that individual unique power to ultimately connect to people to serve the world in your own unique way. So that's what that podcast is about. So yes, go ahead and listen. And Emily is on there, and we had a great time with her. So you guys all have to listen to that episode as well. And we appreciate feedback, and we want to serve you. We want to serve you in every way we possibly can. So yay.
Yay. Thank you so much, Jennifer. It was so good to have you on the show and to, again, like I said, pump me up on this Monday morning as we record. So thank you. I'm so grateful.
Absolutely, Emily. You have a great day, and thank you all for listening. We love you, Emily.
Yes, thank you. Love you all too. Hello, sister, and thank you so much for being part of this amazing tribe of world-changing women and for listening to the Sexy Soulful Success podcast. I love you. I see you. I appreciate you. And I want to invite you to come on over to emilycassel.com/bundle, BUNDLE, to grab my free Soulful Success bundle with 7 of my most powerful tools for creating the impactful and abundant, soul-aligned life and business that you're here to create. I know how hard it can be to clearly and confidently communicate your message and mission to your audience, to take consistent, inspired action toward your goals, to deeply connect with your vision for success, and to do it all in a way that won't burn you out, but instead feels enlivening instead of exhausting. So I want to gift you this free bundle of my top resources that I've been using in my own life and business, as well as with my clients for the past 4 years, that have created exceptional success in record speed. So head on over to emilycassel.com/bundle to grab it right now. And I'd also like to ask a little favor. So in order for this podcast community to grow and for it to reach the eyes and ears of more women who need to hear it, we need reviews, and we need it to show up in their Instagram and Facebook feeds so that they can know about it and be aware and join us in trailblazing a new path for women leaders and entrepreneurs. So I would love to ask if you could head on over to emilycassel.com/podcast to leave a review. There's a button right at the top of the page, as well as all the latest episodes of the show, so you can listen in and share from there. And I would so appreciate your love and support with this. I have big plans and visions for the podcast this year, and I would love your help in making them a reality and being able to reach more women, to share the podcast, share the mission, but also to give more resources out and tools for women to gather in their own communities in real life and take the mission of this podcast offline as well and be in real conversation and connection and community together. So every week I'll be doing an iTunes review of the week on the podcast, and I would love to share your voice with the listening audience and share your name. So thank you so much for being part of this podcast, this movement, and this sisterhood. Together we can and are changing the world, starting with our own, shining our light even more brightly so that we can illuminate the way for others. Keep going on your path, trust in your journey, and remember, you aren't meant to do this alone. I see you, I love you, we've got this. I'll see you next time, sister.